Hi everybody, my name's Krisha and today I thought let me introduce myself. Let me tell you a bit about me and my background. I must remind you I'm reading from no script. I don't have nothing around me, just the subject which is about me. So I shouldn't really need a script. I apologise for now if I do a lot of looking like that. I go, oh. As I go along this journey, I'll get better at telling stories, so the less arms will be great. So let's begin. From a young age, I always loved to entertain. I love to sing. I love to dance. At 9 years old, I decided to be a midwife. That was what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a midwife. And then I realised that there's a lot of blood after a woman goes into labour. So yeah, that put me off. Me and blood, nah, I was okay. Then I went into secondary school and performing arts. I thought, that's it. I want to be an actress. I want to be a singer. I want to be a dancer. I wanted to do what they said, the triple threats. So secondary school, done very well in my test and got my grades, as you do. And I went to college, and I think college was my turning point where I done performing arts. And my mum and dad worked, so I didn't want for anything, but then I also didn't have the nicer things. So we wasn't poor and we wasn't broke. So like the latest trainers or the latest jeans or mobile phone, I wasn't able to have one. So I went to go and get a job. And I realised very quickly, I'm looking back now, at a young age, at 17 years old, my first job, I went in with no CV. I knew to dress the part. All the girls in my college was like, yeah, we should dress up and go and find a job. That's where we was able to just walk into a store and say, are you hiring? And then, take it from there. So my first job, I got hired based on how I looked. Had a nice top end skirt on, made sure my hair was done, makeup done, and he said, yeah, you're hired. When do you want to start? So it was a sales job. Started within a couple of days. You can't do that now, I must say. You have to go for like 4 interviews, I think, 5. And I fitted in so well. It was just crazy. I had no sales experience, obviously. I was just starting out. But I knew from an early age that as long as you listen to the customer, whatever they wanted, it was my job to find a solution and present them for what they want. Present them what they want. And I always got top marks. I've always got insurance out of customers easily because I believed in the insurance. So they obviously believed in it. And that's where I started to build relationships with people. I knew how to engage. If there was issues, I'd love to handle issues because my customers will always leave with a smile, and I loved that. Really did love that. But yeah, back to college, I realised being in performing arts doesn't guarantee you to get an acting job. This is my opinion. I felt when I was doing performing arts, it was teaching me to go into a teaching role, to teach students to be a singer, actress. I don't know. But how can you if you... No, I don't know. So when I finished college, as well as working as well part-time, university was not for me. I knew that's not the way to go. You can't get an Oscar by going to university. You have to be out there, getting jobs, going through auditions. So I went down that route. By the age of 20, 21, realised the world is not as nice as you expect it to be. I done a few auditions, didn't get nowhere, didn't get no jobs. And but then music's always been in my blood, hence why I've got the tattoo. It's a constant reminder. I wanted to get signed, so I went to so many auditions to become in the girl group and everything else. That didn't go too well, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. So I paid for studio time. I learnt Photoshopped on my own album cover. then the internet started to get really interesting, started doing my own distribution through another company, got myself on iTunes, and that's where I think my days of dreaming started to die pretty slowly. I started ranking up in debt. Obviously, it's not cheap going to studio time and learning choreography, paying dance classes, and life hits you, man. It hits you. So I always, one thing though, I always pay my bills. I always, like, was on top of that. But I was still getting credit out. Like, banks will throw money at me. Credit card lenders will throw money at me because I was such a great customer. I'll pay and use, pay and use. But then it got to a point where I went part-time, still in sales, retail. And retail don't pay that much. Like, if you've got a 10, 20 grand loan out and you're on what was I on at the time? About 10 to 12,000 a month. Sorry, month, I wish. 12,000 a year and commissions. Do the maths, it didn't quite work out. So I put my music career on hold and I went into the workforce. I thought, if I go full time, then I can pay off my debt and then go back to my music. We're at the age of 23 now. I moved into a fantastic company, sat-nav company. Loved them, loved it. It was my first experience of a full-time good job. I was doing marketing. I was going into stores, building relationships, training the sales staff how to use the product. Oh, loved it. But then I got so bored. It just felt a bit repetitive, and it was like one product in my eyes. I thought, what more can you do? Then I went back to my sales role, and then I worked in telecommunications for another year. Then I got bored again, and I worked with another huge company, mobile company. You must know Samsung. Loved Samsung. Samsung Mobiles. I was working for that division, and I was at the point where they just launched the first Galaxy, so I came in on the second Galaxy, so Galaxy S2. Amazing. It was so great because we was like the underdogs. We were going into stores, building relationships. People, like staff was like, oh, Apple's better, oh, you're crap, you're this. And we took a lot of knocking. There was like 12 of us in the team doing the whole of the UK. And yeah, we got abused a bit. Like, people were like, oh, get out, what are you doing in there? But over a year of consistently going into the shops, building relationships, understanding what they want, showing them, like, the benefits, and Samsung as it is today. And again, I loved that. I loved feeling as part of a team. But again, I wanted more. Something triggered. Then I had my daughter, and whilst I was in that transition, I was still working with Samsung, and it was so hard to run at the speed I was with Samsung, as well as being pregnant. And then it came to me that I don't think I could do it anymore. So once I had my daughter, I didn't go back to the thing they call job. It was a huge decision. I knew it was the right one, but then I was so lost. I thought, what do I do? What career path do I go? Do I carry on with my music? I had an idea to write a book about being a mum and everything else, but needed income coming in. And it just so happens that my father-in-law was, I think, in partnership, well, not partnership as such, but he was quite close with the founder of a network marketing company where they were setting up. So it was a startup company, and he was launching in the UK, and it was a big deal, huge deal. And I thought, okay, I'll support the cause. I will sit there. I think he tried to tell me about it sometime. I was like, whatever. I have no idea what you're talking about. But anyway, I went to support because that's what a daughter-in-law does. And I was sitting in the audience, and I kid you not, I was sitting there and I was like, oh, this is really boring. Thank God, like it's coming to an end. And I kid you not, somewhere, there was a gentleman that was on stage, and I think he was like, if you do this and you do that, and you get paid that. And I think it just went, what the? I need to do this. That's easy. I was doing that before. I can do that. Oh my days. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I became into network marketing. And yeah, I would say the rest is history. You will hear the stories as I go along, but that's the lead up from me as a little girl growing up, dreams didn't go the way that I wanted to, job, the normal way that you think will work, and then you find a way that you didn't even realize. The one thing that I can say, one thing that I will say was, after having my daughter, I was open. I was open for a solution that I could still be a mum, still enjoy times around with her, but also not have a cap on my earnings, which I want her to have the best of everything that she possibly needs. And that was it. I was open. I was open to opportunities. So thank you for listening. I'm not too sure how long I've been rabbiting on, but as they say, the rest really is history. And I'm so looking forward to how many years that I have to actually offer in the network marketing professional. So I'll speak to you guys later, and I promise next time it will be a bit more shorter.